Hey guys, it's Liam, aka Pookie, and today's story time is one that has to do with me and my friends on a rainy day doing a bunch of dumb shit. But before we get to the real dumb shit that happened that night, there's some things that led up to it. So, my friends that I was hanging out with, let's just say their names are Fernando and Brian. So, I wanted to go down to Fernando's house with my friend Brian to go swimming. And Fernando, he kind of lives in a richer neighborhood, so he has like a pool there, he has a golf course there, and it's really populated and it's a really nice suburban type of area. But the only problem is, as soon as we got together and we drove over there, the pool was closed because it started to rain. So we had to go all the way back to Fernando's house, and we just sat there waiting for the rain to let up, listening to music. We played video games, and we did anything to really keep us occupied. And Brian, he had the idea to go outside. He was like, it's raining and we plan on getting wet today, and we already brought our swimming trunks, so we might as well just go ahead and go outside and mess around and enjoy ourselves regardless of the weather. So everybody thought it was a pretty good idea, so we all threw in our swim trunks and we went outside. We messed around in the rain, we threw a football around, we slipped and tackled and had fun doing that. But I had the idea to, instead of doing that, what if we didn't get ourselves dirty? What if we got something else dirty? Fernando, since there's a golf course there, he has a golf cart. And I was asking Fernando if we were able to drive it around and just kind of mess around and get the course all fucked up and everything like that, and just have fun with that. And he was of course debating about it because he didn't have the specific golf cart we needed. So you had to have a specific color, model, tires, everything, etc., stuff like that. But we decided to go anyways because if we got caught, the worst they could do is say, hey, get off, you need to go home, stuff like that. We wouldn't really just have the police called on us or anything. So I figured we might as well go out there and do anything we can. So we get on the golf cart, we drive to the golf course, and we're messing around in the course, we're leaving tire marks, we're going up the hills and trying to get as much airtime as we can with it, and just enjoying ourselves for the most part. And we did a few more things other than just messing up the golf course. We jumped into the lake that was there, and we messed around and beat each other with the rakes that are there to clean out the sand traps or whatever the fuck they're used for. And Brian likes to give me a bunch of shit. Brian gives me shit constantly just because he's in the baseball team, and he's pretty built for being in the baseball team, and he's just overall just stronger than most people. So he always gives me shit saying oh, you're weak and stuff like that. Well, once again, he was talking shit about me, and I already know I'm a shut-in. I play video games and I do band. That's not a whole lot of things to brag about, just because it's not the most athletic things you can be doing, obviously. But I'm not gonna lie, whenever I was younger, I played soccer and I got my legs pretty built. But I was pretty happy with how I could run. That was the only thing I was happy with at the time. So, I was like, you know what? Fine, keep on talking shit. I'll race the golf cart. That's what I'll do. I'll race the golf cart. And I just wanted to do it for bragging rights. And I obviously knew I wasn't going to keep up with it. The thing can go 15 to 20 miles per hour. I'm not going to keep up with the damn thing. But I wanted to show that I was at least decently fast, and to where he would kind of maybe let up on me a little bit. And he was like, alright, go on ahead. So we lined up the golf cart and me, and we were side by side, and I start running and he starts revving up the golf cart. So of course the golf cart takes a little bit before it can reach to the higher speeds, so I'm right alongside it as it's starting off, and it was going pretty good. They were looking around and they were like, oh, he's actually keeping up. And all of a sudden, Fernando, he had this smug ass fucking smirk, and he turned toward fuck, I can't talk. He turned toward Brian, and he was like, watch this shit. And I'm thinking to myself, what the fuck are these retards thinking? And fucking Fernando, he decides to speed up the golf cart and cut in front of me as I'm running. and I wasn't going like kind of like full speed yet. I was trying to keep up with the golf cart for the most part, but I still had a little bit in me before I was able to go full speed. So in my mind, I'm thinking, well, I'm supposed to be racing it and it's in front of me, so I have to get around it. So I speed up, but I can't turn. Since it's slippery, it's wet, I can't turn. So instead of turning around the golf cart, I speed up and I ran right into the back of the golf cart and I slid underneath it. And the golf cart was about like 6 inches, like maybe half a foot away from running over my arm. And I fucking skidded across the grass, and I had like a little rash on my back. It wasn't anything too major, and they came back and checked on me and made sure everything was okay. Well, that was only one of the first injuries I got. After we did that, we were like, you know what, it's probably about time we need to get off the golf course. We need to go around, just kind of relax for a little bit and enjoy ourselves before we can do anything else. So we got a speaker and we kind of just listened to music and we drove around. It got dark really fast, so we weren't even able to go to the pool that day because it rained all day. But we were just deciding to ride around the golf cart on the streets and listen to music and talk about dumb shit that was going on in our lives. And all of a sudden, Brian, he's been begging to drive the golf cart all day. All day he's been begging to drive this thing. And Fernando, he's extremely protective over it because his dad's kind of like a military man. He's one of those people that will go out and fucking like snap someone's neck and then come back home and talk about it. He's a scary ass man. You don't want to fuck with him. And he was like, look, if I get this thing fucked up, it's gonna be my fault, and I'm not down to get yelled at or anything like that. I really don't want anything to happen to me or anything. Like, he was freaking out about it basically. And Brian somehow smooth talked his way into getting a hold of the steering wheel. Well, before I get to what Brian's dumbass did, I'm usually in the very back of the golf cart. The back of the golf cart is where I enjoy sitting. Because, you know, I had the rain there, I could feel the breeze, and I wasn't worried about what was going on in front of me and everything. I was just kind of chilling on my phone while everybody else was talking. And it was my own little isolated area. So back to that, Brian gets a hold of the steering wheel. So, you know how you get to like the dead end of a certain street and it'll have like a roundabout, but there will be nothing in the middle, so it's just solid road. He decides to drive to the end of this road, and Fernando, of course, the entire time is freaking out, making sure he does everything safe and everything. And Brian, he goes dead center into this roundabout. And instead of slowly turning around the circle, or even in the middle, you can turn around slowly enough to where you won't mess up anything. No, he decides to whip the steering wheel to the left, like as hard as he possibly could. And it's 11 o'clock at night, somewhere near there. And all you hear from Fernando is just him yelling at the top of his fucking lungs, just fuck, fuck, fuck. And the golf cart tips over on its side and it starts like skidding across the fucking concrete. And, you know, everybody's freaking out. And Fernando and Brian are checking on each other and they're making sure they're both okay. And all of a sudden, they thought I was in the back. Yeah, I got fucking catapulted. Like, basically, as soon as it tipped over, I just instantly got thrown to the side. And, you know, I stopped myself with my hands, so my hands were all fucked up, my arms were all fucked up, some of my thigh and, like, my leg and calf were all scratched up. I had road rash and cuts all over. And, you know, my adrenaline kind of kicked in, and I was freaking out for a little bit, but we just decided to wrap myself up in the towels that were there. And once we got the towels wrapped around me and everything, I was alright. And we figured we might as well just go ahead and walk back to, well, not walk back, but drive back to the house and make sure nothing else is going to go down. So we go back there, and once we get back to the house, we think, how are we going to get by Fernando's mom without her asking why I have all these towels wrapped around and why I'm limping and all this other stuff. So we just decided to free ball it and walk right in front of her, and nothing really bad happens. She doesn't question us or anything, and we just walk right by her. And we walk by her and we get into the bathroom, and that's where the alcohol is. I had to clean out all of these cuts that were all over me because it had concrete, like little tiny rocks and sand in it, and I needed to get it cleaned or else I was going to get infected. And I don't know if you guys have ever had alcohol poured onto a cut. That shit fucking burns. And I had to have it pretty much all over my body. So I had to be quiet the entire time as his mom is in the other room. I'm having to be quiet, like stomping my feet and almost like I was losing it as he was pouring the shit on me. And I was exhausted. After he got done, I walked out of there. I was like pretty much in tears. I'm not even gonna fucking lie. And I went into the bed, put on a long sleeve, I put on pants, and I fucking passed out. That was pretty much the end of it. I passed out, I fell asleep, and I woke up the next morning and nobody really said anything about it. We just kind of kept it to ourselves. Yeah, that was pretty much it. Moral of the story, don't let your dumbass friends drive your golf cart. Unless, you know, they can like Tokyo drift that shit. Like they came straight out of Fast and the Furious. Yeah. I hope you guys enjoyed. Have a nice ass day, and yeah, later.